Listen for Here Today every second and fourth Friday on JB Radio at 12 o'clock noon with Dr. Joanie Davis of Davis Family Hearing.
My name is Dr. Joanie Davis. Tune in where we will be discussing different causes of hearing losses, all the various different types of treatment options that exist, and how your overall health can be affected by not only hearing loss, but the improvement that you'll see when your hearing loss is treated.
This will be a live show brought to you by Davis Family Hearing on JB Radio. Okay, you heard it right there on JW, and I've got Dr. Joanie in the studios. It's Here Today, a show brought to you by the board-certified audiologist, Dr. Joanie Davis with Davis Family Hearing, every second and fourth Friday of the month at 12 o'clock noon. And we've been telling you about it. You've been hearing about it. Now's your chance to call in and ask your question, voice your concern. Maybe you got a comment for Dr. Joanie Davis. You've been to their offices before. Tell us how that's going and how that went. 352-796-7272 is the number to get you through to the good doc in the studio this afternoon. 352-796-7272, 1-888-613-2050. Without further ado, I want to introduce my favorite doctor and a good friend of mine, Dr. Joanie Davis. You're listening to Here Today. Doctor.
Hi, John.
Yes.
How's it going?
Wonderful as always, and glad to see you once again. Second and fourth Friday of each month at 12 o'clock noon till 12:30. These folks have the opportunity to actually sit down with you, although they're not here personally. You are, and it's live, so they have the opportunity to ask you any question they want without having to make any kind of appointment. And maybe they have a comment or a concern about their hearing, and that's why you're here. We appreciate everything that you do for the community and the fact that you are here with us. So off the top of your head, what do you want to talk about today?
I actually had a really exciting and interesting week. So I have actually a couple of patients that I had a chance to talk to who taught me some things and shared with me some frustrating stories that they had experienced while they were trying to treat their hearing loss. And they learned a lot this week. So I kind of wanted to share what they learned with everyone else out there who's struggling with their hearing loss. Okay. But before I did anything, I actually you know how we donated the pair of Bluetooth hearing aids for the Rotary Club? Yep. So that was such a fun experience for me. And I had the pleasure of meeting our recipient and our winner. And he is a delightful human being exposed to a ton of noise in his life. So he actually has a very significant hearing loss and has never worn hearing aids before. Okay. He has an iPhone, so it was perfect. We were able to Bluetooth his hearing aids into his iPhone. And I fit him yesterday. And I was last night I was at the Chamber of Commerce Student Recognition Banquet, and I get a text. So I just wanted to read you this text because it's a really good description of what happens when you let your hearing loss go and progress to a point where you literally haven't been hearing certain sounds for a very long time. Okay. And it's a really good description of what you can expect after we turn the hearing aids on. And let's paint that picture real quick. This is a young man. He's probably, I'm guessing, between 30 and 60 years old. Yeah, he's probably, I think he's about 50 years old. Okay. And when I asked him what he did for a living, he said, "I blow stuff up." Okay. That was the comment that I got. And he does work in construction, and he does blow up an awful lot of cement, and he's been exposed to a ton of background noise. He does drive truck a lot, and he did that a good bit in the past. And the reason he even bid on the hearing aids is because his receptionist said that his favorite word was "huh." And when I brought him back, he said, I say "huh" a lot. And he told me about how everybody complains about his television being ridiculously loud and it hurts their ears. And really his staff was a big motivating force because he has a lot of difficulty hearing at work. So very jolly person, really good outlook on life, but he gets it. He realizes that he's struggling, and he actually told me the funniest story. He said sometimes, when you're out on the road and you're working, you sleep in your truck. Yeah. And he had to set an alarm, but he couldn't hear any of the alarms on his phone. They weren't loud enough to wake him up. Wow. So I have never seen this before. maybe some of the listeners have heard of this, but he told me that he set a Mimi. Have you ever heard of a Mimi before?
No, I haven't.
Apparently, it is an extremely loud chirping alarm clock, and he said it just is obnoxious. And if anybody is around him, they're just completely jarred whenever it goes off. But it was the only alarm that he could hear that would actually wake him up.
So that's painting a perfect picture there, because it's not just for the senior citizens. I mean, this gentleman's in his 50s and he's having hearing problems. Of course, he works in an environment where he gets it all day long. And when you say Mimi, the only thing that comes to mind is like the screaming Mimi, the firework.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I do. I think that's what it is, because I don't think it was actually an alarm clock, but he said it so it would wake him up because it was the loudest thing he could get his hands on. It was the screaming Mimi.
All right.
And the other thing I'd like to point out is he sweats a lot. He's outside all of the time.
Sure.
So that was actually a big reason that it took him so long to treat his hearing loss, because he's like, I'm going to be wearing these electronic devices on my head. There's no way they're going to be able to survive the environment that I'm in all of the time.
Okay.
And the good news is we have waterproof hearing aids and extremely moisture resistant hearing aids. And I told him, I said, wear them all day. Don't worry about the environment that you're in. I want you to be able to hear. And he was just ecstatic about the whole thing. And he left yesterday.
Okay.
So,
he responded with a text.
He was my last patient of the day. I got done with him about 5:15. So at about 7:30, I get this text from him. This is awesome, mostly. First thing I noticed after leaving your office, all the little noises of opening the car door, little sounds of the leather seats as you settle in. As I approached an intersection, I turned on my turn signal. It was making so much racket, I jumped. I had never heard the loud clicking of that. Made it home again, noises of the car I hadn't heard, door automatically unlocking, the little sounds of the works of the door latches. There was noises up in my trees. I'm told they're birds, but I've never heard them before, and they sometimes get loud. Didn't know that we had them. The TV volume was 50 to 55. Now I hear it just fine at 33. Maybe everyone won't flinch. This will be a get used to experience. On the downside, now I have to buy a new house. We live next to a highway. It sometimes can get quite busy, and now it sounds like living at the racetrack. All in all, awesome. Thanks. See you next week. And this is typical of the first day that you get hearing aids.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. He's gradually lost his hearing over time, years and years and years, probably 20 years, and we give it back to him all at once. So I always say your brain is in holy cow mode after we turn those hearing aids on. He loves it though, because and even right after I turned them on, he moved up in his seat, and I have leather seats in my office, and he goes, "What was that?"
Yeah.
And I said, "That was your seat.
Yes.
It makes the sound." But what happens is after a week or two of wearing the hearing aids, your brain gets used to hearing again. Right now it's in a fight or flight mode. Why is everything making so much noise? But after a week or two of listening to them, your brain blocks out those everyday noises that people with normal hearing hear and just don't pay any attention to. And a lot of times patients go, "All right, let's crank it up some more. I like hearing."
Right. Yes.
So he had an excellent first day. I was delighted to hear that text. Everything he was experiencing was normal, and he was discovering the world around him.
Yep.
He didn't know he had birds in his trees.
Wow.
He didn't know that his car door lock made a sound. When you think about just how much people who have hearing loss miss, how much of life that they're not connected to. And that's why I have the best job in the world, because I get a chance to experience that every single day.
Yes, and you get to share it with us, and that's just awesome. It's on the borderline of tear jerk. You know, it's just one of those stories that you get to see and live every day.
We have tissues in every single room. At least once a day, somebody's in there crying happy tears. Or on the converse, it's their first appointment and they're talking about how frustrating it is to talk to their spouse, and they're upset about it, and their spouse is getting angry at them because they can't hear. And you know, I mean, as a married couple, communication's difficult enough without adding a hearing loss on top of it.
True.
And it can create unnecessary tension. And it's not uncommon after I fit somebody with a pair of hearing aids to have the spouse come in with them and they act like honeymooners all of a sudden because they can communicate easily.
Wow.
I have several couples that were at each other's throats the first day, and they came back for a follow-up, and they're holding hands and kissing in my office, which I just absolutely love to see, because you know, it's much more fun to get along with your spouse than to fight with your spouse.
Yes, thank you very much. So that's just one of the things that Dr. Joanie Davis and Davis Family Hearing can do for you. Once again, this is an open line forum. You're welcome to give us a call, talk to Dr. Joanie personally over the phone here in the studios, 352-796 7272 is the number to call. And while we wait for your call, we're going to take a quick break and hear a little bit more about what Davis Family Hearing has to offer you. You're listening to Hearing Today, Here Today. I'm JW on JB Radio. Be right back, folks, after this.
Davis Family Hearing offers a free 30-day hearing aid trial. The initial appointment is completely free of charge. We do a full hearing examination with one of our board-certified doctors of audiology, a consultation to address your specific lifestyle needs, and then a free 30-day hearing aid trial. At the end of 30 days, you can either return or purchase the hearing aids. Call us today at 352-666-8910 or visit us at davisfamilyhearing.com.
And there you go, just one of the offers that Davis Family Hearing has for you. You can begin to hear again today, and you're listening to Here Today on JB Radio. I'm JW. Our phone number, once again, 352-796-7272. While we have captured her and keeping her till the bottom of the hour, it's your chance to call in with your question, your comment, your concern. If you're having hearing issues, maybe your spouse or someone in the family, co-worker, give us a call, 352-796-7272. Dr. Joanie Davis is here to help you, board-certified audiologist, which makes a difference, and we're going to hear more about that from Dr. Joanie as to why. Dr. Joanie, with so many choices out there, how do you know where to go, and how do you know what to do to treat your hearing loss, and what's the difference?
You know, this is a question that I get all of the time, and unfortunately, it is overwhelming out there. I mean, you open up the newspaper, and you have a ton of hearing aid ads jumping out at you, 60% off, buy one, get one free. It's like a car, and it's a medical device that really should not be treated that way, but it can be very overwhelming, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, so a lot of times my patients are confused, and I had the perfect example of that walk into my Newport Richey office this week. He was frustrated. And you know, hearing loss is frustrating enough without the treatment being frustrating. Right. And he was a delightful gentleman. He came in and he said, okay, here's my story. So I just sat there and listened, and his story was very interesting. He started treating his hearing loss probably about 10 years ago. And he was in Arizona, I think is where he lived. And he did find an audiologist that he was happy with. And he said that he had a good relationship with him. And then it came time to get new hearing aids, and he decided to order them online. Well, in Florida, it's actually illegal to sell hearing aids online. Wow. And it's hard to believe because you take a look at the internet and you can buy hearing aids online very easily. It's not illegal to purchase them. It's illegal to sell them. However, there are people out there policing the internet, trying to shut these places down. But unfortunately, he was a victim of that. And he talked about how they were uncomfortable in his ears, how he actually heard worse whenever he had them in his ears, and he was frustrated. So what did he do? He ordered a mail order hearing aid. Well, that was no better. There's no professional involved. This is a medical device. It would be like trying to order a pair of glasses without getting a vision test. True. And we've all tried other people's glasses on before. It doesn't go well. No. So then he said, okay, I need to go to a professional. And he went to see a hearing aid specialist. Unfortunately, he said that he felt like he was being pressured into spending way more money than he could afford, and they didn't offer any financing options. So he left that place and went to see another hearing aid specialist. That hearing aid specialist fit him with a pair of hearing aids that he said, I just know I should be hearing better than this. He said, they did work with me with financing, but I just found out that they're going out of business and they're closing their doors. My gosh. And he was still on trial with these hearing aids. So he went back and he returned them. And he said, I know I need to see an audiologist. He said, I had an audiologist in Arizona and I liked him a lot. So I want to see what you can offer me. Financing was a big issue because he wanted to have payment plans. So we went ahead and pre-approved him in the office. And I said, anything that you try is going to be 100% free. I want you to have a chance to make sure that you're getting what works best for you. And we do that for all of our patients. We don't charge anybody anything up front to treat their hearing loss. If they love it and they want to keep it, then they can purchase it. And we do have a ton of financing options. Okay. So I fit him with a pair of hearing aids that I thought were appropriate. And because he said, you're the doc, just make it happen.
So leave it up to the professionals.
That's what I did. I got him something cost effective that I thought would do a good job. So I fit him last week, and he came in for his follow-up appointment this week. And I said, how are you doing? And he said, great. And the number one thing that I notice when somebody's doing great is they look 10 years younger. Their face is relaxed. You can tell they're not having to exert so much energy just to understand what you're saying.
Right.
He was leaning back in his chair, whereas the first time I spoke with him, he was leaning forward and had his brow furrowed because he was trying to hear me.
Right.
Again, he had a significant hearing loss from noise exposure. And I said, well, do you need any adjustments on your hearing aids? Because there's a lot of adjustments we can make if it needs to be tweaked at all, if something's not quite right. And he said, honestly, no. This is the best that I have ever heard. And he said, even when I was in Arizona with, this other audiologist that I had a lot of respect for, he said, I did not hear this well.
Yeah.
And I said, so what have you learned? And he said, I've learned that the person that you see makes the most difference.
There you go.
And I said, can I put you on video?
Yes.
It was just kind of a moment because here's a person who has gone every way that he shouldn't have gone, frustration after frustration. And I commended him for keeping at it because I'll be honest with you, if I were in his shoes, I don't know that I would have continued to pursue it. And I see this story all of the time. People are frustrated because they're going the wrong direction to treat their hearing loss. And there's a lot of directions you shouldn't go. The number one rule is you need to see a doctor of audiology. That's the number one rule.
Okay.
The number two rule is, and I'm not naive enough to sit here and say that all audiologists are phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, most of us are, but if you walk into the office and you're not comfortable and you don't feel like you're being taken care of and you feel pressured, walk out.
Yeah.
That's not where you should be. We treat the patient and we're not trying to sell anybody anything. Unfortunately, hearing aid specialists work on commission. And all of my doctors work on salary because I don't want them thinking about paying their bills at the end of the month. I want them thinking about what's in the best interest of the patient. You should feel 100% comfortable. You should feel like a member of the family, which is what we do when our patients come through the door.
I know you do. Coming straight from the doctor's mouth, Dr. Joanie Davis, board-certified audiologist, Davis Family Hearing. Give her office a call, 352-666-8910. They've got staff and employees there already waiting for your call, 352-666-8910. But we've got the doc here in the studio with us right now till the bottom of the hour. If you have a question for her concerning your hearing loss, give us a call, 352-796-7272, and we'll put you right through to Dr. Joanie Davis. If not, once again, give her office a call, 352-666-8910. So as she said, the difference between audiologist and, of course, a retail hearing aid store, they are doctors of audiology. Okay, the retail hearing aid store has got commissioned salespeople. The service, they service and sell many brands at Davis Family Hearing, whereas a retail hearing aid store has limited selection. Davis Family Hearing does offer that 30-day free trial period. Of course, the retail hearing store is not going to have a trial period and demand payment up front. Davis Family Hearing is calming educational environment, whereas high-pressure sales environment exists at the hearing aid stores. And most insurances are accepted with an audiologist, whereas at a retail hearing aid store, limited availability. Anything you can add to that? There's one thing I do want to say about the trial period. By law, you get a 30-day trial period. The difference is most facilities require payment up front, but you, by law, can get a refund at the end of 30 days. So it's very important for people to know because a lot of people think once they purchase it that they can't return it. Right.
But you have 30 days to return it. And if you have a difficult time getting your money back, if you report it to the Department of Health, they will make sure that you get a refund.
Wonderful.
And unfortunately, that does exist, but there are bodies out there paying attention to what's going on and monitoring behavior and making sure everybody is servicing the patient the way that they should.
Well, that's why we turn to you, because you're on top of it all. You really are.
Absolutely.
And that's why you have 3 locations, one in Brooksville, one in Newport Richey, one in Spring Hill, and growing, by the way, folks. You're adding a new audiologist on board. Is that correct?
Yes. Dr. Ariel Shashadi. I'm excited to say that she actually graduates next weekend.
Okay.
Next weekend, she's graduating. She's done her residency with us, and patients absolutely adore her. She's just super intelligent and gets along very well with everybody, and she's very upbeat. So she has a following of patients already. And just yesterday, I had a woman going, "Thank goodness you're keeping her, because I didn't want to see her go." So she has agreed to come on board. So now we have 4 doctors of audiology, 3 of us board certified. Dr. Shashadi will be getting her board certification shortly after graduation. And then we have 2 new residents coming on, one from West Virginia University and one from Gallaudet University. So there are going to be 6 of us seeing patients. So plenty of people and plenty of fun to go around. We can service as many people as call in, and we're actually moving our corporate office so we can have twice as much space to be able to support how fast we're growing.
Sweet.
And I've had people ask me, we're going to be 5 years old in January, and I've had people ask me how we grew so fast. And I said, it's very, very, very easy. If you treat people the way that you would like to be treated, you don't have to think about anything else. Everything falls into place.
That's right. That's right. And plus, folks see you in the area. They see you in their neighborhood. They see you in the shopping center. They see you at church or whatever the case may be. And if you're doing something wrong, they're going to let you know.
Absolutely. And I want them to.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying, though, is you're not afraid to be out there. You know, you're not afraid to make appearances or to show your face. Whereas some of these people, they're going to go in hiding because they know that they just can't face it.
I actually enjoy it. I love going out in the community, and I take every opportunity that I can to go out and educate the community. And I'm going to give you an honest answer. Something as simple, I wasn't even at an event the other day. Something as simple as going to a restaurant. Somebody started asking me about hearing loss. They recognized me, and I was able to have a conversation with them, and they were in my office in a week. So, just going about doing your normal day-to-day functions, people want to talk about it. Hearing loss is a hot topic. It's the 3rd most chronic condition in the United States after heart disease and arthritis.
Didn't know that.
So, it's very common.
So if you're having issues, once again, her offices, that's Davis Family Hearing, Dr. Joanie Davis, board-certified audiologist. Brooksville office, of course, 352-666-8910, and that'll get you through to all 3 offices, no matter where you live, regardless of where you're hearing us from. Because, we reach folks all the way up to North Citrus County, all the way down South Pasco County and beyond. So, wherever the case may be, you're hearing us today, you need to hear clearer. And you can do that through Davis Family Hearing, 666-8910. That's 352-666-8910. Now, what age do we need to start being concerned? I mean, I know you do also treat pediatrics.
Yes.
But what age, if say we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe approaching 50, what age do we need to start maybe looking at hearing loss or start treating? Or
there's really no age.
Okay.
It's something that you should just be cognizant of if you're having problems. I mean, we do newborn infant hearing screenings for Oak Hill Hospital right now, and by law, babies are required to have their hearing screened before they even leave the hospital. But I will tell you, about 50% of the teenagers I see in my office these days already have a noise notch from listening to music. So there is no minimum age. It's a good idea for everyone to get their hearing tested occasionally. But if you're really thinking about the average age that people start to develop hearing loss due to just the normal aging process, I would say about 40. Okay. About 40 years old is when you should start getting a baseline so we can monitor it over time. You may not even be experiencing any difficulty, but we can compare what has happened to your hearing over time.
I got you. We got about a minute and a half left. So anything in the works as of now coming up? Any events or any?
Yeah, absolutely. We are. Actually, I wanted to talk about, I was just at the Chamber of Commerce student recognition banquet last night. Davis Family Hearing sponsored a student, and the next Chamber of Commerce event that they're going to have is on May 13th. Okay. It's the Food Truck Fiesta.
Oh, right. I saw that.
And we're going to be there offering hearing loss information and looking in people's ears and taking any earwax out that might be problematic. Wonderful. It's a little difficult to screen hearing outside, so we're We're not going to be screening hearing, but we will be making appointments for free hearing screenings in our office.
Okay.
So if you'd like to come out and say hi, we always love to see the public.
Yes.
Dr. Perkins has a couple of children's events coming up. There's one this weekend and there's one in July. She's our pediatric audiologist and has a real passion for it. And I heard that she's going to have some games at her table.
Oh,
so
they love the games.
Yes, I believe it's at the YMCA. I believe that's where her event is. So always something going on, always out in the community. And that's why we do what we do. We enjoy interacting with the community.
I know you do. And that's why I asked to make sure that folks can stop by and say hello. Tell her you heard it here on JB Radio. It's here today, every second and fourth Friday of the month at 12 o'clock noon to 12:30. We get to have Dr. Joanie Davis in the studios with us to help and assist you. Davis Family Hearing, once again, their office number, 352-666-8910. Dr. Joanie, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a great day.
We'll see you next time.